Welcome to Baby Boomer Tales. My name's Jim. You can find us at babyboomertales.com, our Facebook page, Baby Boomer Tales, our YouTube channel. You can contact us at babyboomertales@gmail.com. You can also find our podcasts wherever fine podcasts are served. How are you today? This is the last Wednesday of May 2026. Amazing. Where does the time go? Well, like I've been saying lately, time slips by in a blink of an eye. Isn't it true? Doesn't it seem just like yesterday that you were turning 40? Or that you were taking a girl to the first prom you ever went to? Or even more traumatic, asking the girl to go to the first prom that you ever went to? Time slips by in a blink of an eye. That first day of kindergarten will never leave you. It's never left me. It is amazing how fast it goes. And a lot of my peers in my peer group have told me that it seems to be going faster as you age. And that's probably true. Nothing's worse than sitting through high school algebra class, watching Mr. S write all these equations on the board. Remember the blackboard? Only by the time I got to high school, they had turned green. But I do remember blackboards that were black. And sitting there, and when will this class be over? When will Friday finally come? All that stuff. And now, well, I barely ever know what day of the week it is except for Wednesday. Wednesday's the day that our podcast is released every week, every Wednesday. And so I do know that day. And I usually don't sleep in on that day. Now, sleeping in is anything past 7:30 for me. Between 5 and 6 in the mornings when I usually get up. What day is this? Who cares? You know what I mean? Now, there are some days you have to make an appointment or go somewhere or something like that, and you have to know what day it is. But the only thing I use my alarm clock, and my alarm clock is on my phone. I have about 5 different alarms. One is to tell my wife that this thing she does every week, a class thing. Another one of my alarms is 3 o'clock every day. My alarm goes off, and it has a snooze feature on this one, and it tells me to take my pills for the day. I found that I don't take them in the morning, first thing I don't. And if I wait until evening, there's a note on my mirror saying, "Did you take your pills today?" Well, if I wait until right before I go to bed, it kind of upsets my stomach. So 3 o'clock, before dinner, way after lunch. And dinner is earlier than it used to be. I announced to Kim a few weeks ago that I think we should start eating dinner at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That means I would take my pill and then eat dinner. Well, 3's a little early, but we try to have it by 4 at the latest. I find, though, that if I eat dinner earlier, then I don't gain as much weight in the morning when I weigh myself. I weigh myself every day, unless I'm on vacation. Basically, it's called out of town anymore, unless I'm out of town. I don't even live in a town. Oh well. Our song of the week is Heard It in a Love Song by the Marshall Tucker Band. It's a song on their Carolina Dreams album of 1977. This great song was Marshall Tucker Band's highest charting single, reaching number 14 on Billboard's Hot 100. Other great songs by the Marshall Tucker Band: Can't You See, This Old Cowboy, and Fire on the Mountain. If I ever settled down, you'd be my kind. Heard it in a love song. Now for another edition of Forky and Earl. Hey, Forky? Yeah, Earl? The Doors are going to be in Denver, Forky. I know, Earl. I saw that on KIMN. They said it on that radio station. You want to go, Forky? I always want to go. I just don't know if I can, Earl. Do you have to ask your mom, Forky? Well, I'll tell my mom, and then she'll let me know if I'm asking her being out of line. What about you, Earl? I think I can go, and I can drive, Forky. I can. Since it's on a Friday night, my mom probably won't even have a clue what Doors are. I hear you there, Earl. I think we ought to take John with us, Forky. He's bigger than us, and maybe we may need him. And besides that, he's our friend. I hear you, Earl. John is fine. Let's go. So the boys got in Earl's station wagon and took off for Denver a couple days later. And they got to Denver, and they got to the Family Dog, a place where the Doors were playing their music. And they got out of the parking lot, and they saw all kinds of people that were pretty rough looking for Earl and Forky and John. And Earl said to Forky, Forky, this looks like a rough crowd. I know, Earl, but we're pretty rough ourselves. At least that's what my little brother Lily says. Well, I think he was just being nice to you, Forky. I don't know you to be too rough at all. Whatever turns your crank, Earl. Let's go. Come on, John. So John and Earl and Forky went to the venue and were waiting outside, and all of a sudden some big guy dressed in leather that hadn't taken a bath in maybe 4 or 5 years said to Forky, Do you have money? And Forky said, I don't have any money. Go ask Earl. I want money. And the big scuzzy guy put his hand in Forky's pocket, and Forky hit him in the arm and said, Get your hand out of my pocket. That is my pocket, not your pocket. Get your hand out of it. And all of a sudden, I thought there would be a fight, said Forky later. And Earl said, Forky, what's going on? Forky said, This guy won't leave me alone, Earl. And John looked at both Forky and Earl with wildness in his eyes. And Earl said, Forky, I don't think this is the place for us. I don't even see any cute girls. And Forky said, What about the Doors, Earl? And Earl said, Heck with the Doors. Let's go home. So John and Earl and Forky went back to the car, and they drove back over the mountains to their little hometown, glad that they didn't get punched out or whatever by that big, monstrous, dirty, scuzzy guy. The end. Hi, Gator Earl. Hello, Jerry. How are you today? I'm just checking on you, Gator Earl. You know, your wedding's in just a week. I know it, Jerry. Thank you for checking on me. Are you ready for the rehearsal dinner? Yeah, Gator Earl. I am privileged to stand up with you and Allie at your wedding. Old Pop and Homer and I will try to do you a good job there, Gator Earl. I appreciate it, Jerry. I do. Have you seen Homer around lately? I was just at the store and didn't see him. Yeah, Jerry. He's over there in that booth, having a hot chocolate. Can you imagine drinking hot chocolate and it's almost June? Well, Gator Earl, you know Homer about as well as I do, and nothing surprises me with him.
Hey guys, you want some hot chocolate?
I went to the Walmart in the big town south of us the other day. That's the town that got hit by a tornado a few weeks ago. And as I was getting into my pickup truck, having done what I had to do there in Walmart, this guy pulls up alongside me and got out of his car, and he had to be as old as me, I would think. I just turned 76 here a while back. This guy had a big old ponytail, looked a little scruffy, had a ball cap on. I could see into his car because I was in my pickup and looking down at it, and the biggest menagerie of stuff in that car, and I thought to myself, that's an old hippie. Well, it made me think a little bit about, I wonder how people perceive me when they see me. Now, I have long abandoned suits and dress-up clothes, even business clothes, even though I do have a couple suits and a sport jacket and some of that stuff in the very back of my closet, just in case. Last time I tried to put one on, though, nothing fit, so I don't know. But I wonder how they perceive me when I get out of my pickup. I don't wear Dockers. I don't wear cowboy boots and snap-up shirts anymore. I've worn all that stuff before, Go to work in a tie and a coat. Go to work in a pair of cowboy boots and snap-up shirts. I've told you this before, but I'm comfortable wearing a pair of blue jeans and a t-shirt. If it's chilly outside, I put a hooded sweatshirt on, not the kind you pull over your head, but a kind you zip up. I usually wear a ball cap when I'm out, unless I'm going somewhere fancy where my hair is not supposed to look all smushed up and discombobulated by the ball cap. But I wonder how people think when they see me. Now, that doesn't affect me and doesn't factor into any of my decisions on how I look. But it just made me wonder after I looked at that guy and I judged him. I judged him. And I guess, I don't know, I have a friend that he is in the business world forever. And after he retired, he grew his hair long. I mean, long, like a ponytail. And so you can't judge a book by its cover. I know that. I preach that. I believe that. And yet, I wonder, at least I did after I saw that young man. He's probably 70, 75. Who knows? Who knows how old a person is? It all depends on how they aged, how their skin looks, what kind of life they had. Well, I have been blessed with my mother's skin, so I really don't have many wrinkles. It's amazing, And I do shave before I go to town and go somewhere. But I'm always in a t-shirt and blue jeans. Usually a pair of Converse tennis shoes, but sometimes I wear these Merrill shoes that I can just slip on. They're not cheap shoes, but they last forever and they're okay. All depends on if I want to tie those tennis shoes or not. It's funny, I guess. I just don't know. I never thought that I'd be an old man wearing that kind of stuff. I used to look at old men if they were wearing blue jeans and I thought, that guy looks out of place. Now I'm right out of place with them. I don't care, but do I? I might if I'm talking about it right now. But I don't think enough to change my dress. The only time I really change something is if my wife says, you're not going to wear that, are you? One of those deals.
Jim, I've got a bone to pick with you.
What do you mean, a bone to pick with me, Heather?
I want a new box.
You want a new box?
Yes! We only have 9 boxes, and I want a new box, Jim.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Could we have some sugar, too?
Sugar? I'll see what I can do. Well, that's about it for this week. If you like our podcast, maybe you could try episode 7 from March 2019. It's titled Grandparents. I talk about my grandparents, all 4 of them. You know, I can see them in my mind's eye just like I visited them yesterday. Grandparents are a blessing. So be a blessing, why don't you? So hi-yo, Silver Hair. Don't be a Lone Ranger. Make a friend. Let someone into your life. If you have people in your life, always be kind to them. Always be kind. Don't forget to smile. Thank you for riding along. I'll see you next Wednesday. Peace out.